I am the Archivist, and tonight we open another forgotten chapter. There are disasters that arrive with sirens. Others come with earthquakes, storms, or war. But some begin so quietly, they are mistaken for routine. In 1962, in a small American mining town, workers lit a fire to clean a dump. By the time they understood what they had done, an entire town was already doomed, because beneath their feet, the earth itself had begun to burn. The town was called Centralia. Nestled among the hills of Pennsylvania, it was the kind of place many outsiders would never notice. Rows of modest homes, church steeples rising above tree lines, children riding bicycles through quiet streets, miners returning home with coal dust on their clothes. It was not rich, it was not famous, but it was alive. Generations had built their lives there. Families knew one another by name. Porches filled with conversation in summer. Windows glowed warmly in winter, and beneath it all lay the reason the town existed at all: coal. For decades, Centralia had depended on the black veins buried deep underground. Coal paid wages, coal heated homes, coal built the town. But what gives life can also take it away. By the early 1960s, many mines had closed. The prosperity had faded, but the ground beneath Centralia still carried the scars of mining. Abandoned shafts, tunnels, and exposed coal seams running like arteries beneath the town. Most residents rarely thought about them. The danger below was invisible, and invisible dangers are often the easiest to ignore.
In May of 1962, town officials prepared for a common task. A landfill near a cemetery had become cluttered with waste. Trash needed to be cleared before Memorial Day, so workers did what had been done before. They set it on fire. To many, it was ordinary, practical, cheap. Flames rose through garbage piles, smoke drifted upward, and then the fire found something else. Somewhere below the dump, through cracks in the ground or openings into old mine workings, the flames reached exposed coal. Once coal catches deep underground, it does not behave like wood in a fireplace. It creeps, it feeds, it travels through darkness where water cannot easily reach and hands cannot safely follow. The surface fire was extinguished, but below the town, another fire had only just begun. At first, there was little reason to panic. No buildings were burning. No alarms rang through the streets. No smoke towers rose into the sky. Life continued, yet the signs slowly appeared. Residents noticed strange smells drifting through neighborhoods. Sulfur, hot metal, something unnatural. Steam curled from patches of earth on cold mornings. Some cellars grew warm. Garden soil in places became too hot to touch. People reported headaches, nausea, breathing problems. Still, many believed it could be managed, that officials would solve it, that someone, somewhere, understood what was happening. Attempts were made. Engineers dug trenches to cut off the fire. Water was pumped underground. Plans were drawn. Money was spent. But underground fires are patient enemies. They move through cracks. They slip through forgotten tunnels. They wait behind walls of rock. Every time one route was blocked, the fire found another. Years passed, then decades. Road surfaces began to split. Smoke seeped through fractures in the streets. Winter snow melted in strange circles where heat rose from below. Trees withered. Lawns steamed. A town built on solid ground was discovering that the ground itself could no longer be trusted. Then came the moment the outside world could no longer ignore Centralia. In 1981, a boy named Todd Domboski was playing in his grandmother's yard when the earth suddenly opened beneath him. A sinkhole formed without warning. He fell into the opening as hot gases rose from below. Only a desperate grab by a relative pulled him back to safety. Had he fallen deeper, rescue may have been impossible. The message was now undeniable. This was no local nuisance. An entire town sat above a hidden furnace. Government officials faced a grim reality. Experts warned the fire could continue for many decades, perhaps centuries. To extinguish it completely would cost enormous sums with no guarantee of success. So, a different decision was made. If the fire could not be moved, the people would be. Homes were purchased, families relocated. Street by street, neighbors left. Curtains were removed from windows. Doors were locked for the last time. Church bells fell silent. Some residents resisted fiercely. This was their home, their memories, their dead buried nearby. But memory cannot stop heat beneath the earth. One by one, Centralia emptied. Today, roads still lead there. A few structures remain, but where a town once stood, silence now dominates. Open land, missing streets, scattered traces of lives once lived, and below it all, the fire still burns in places, a reminder that some mistakes outlive those who make them. Centralia was not destroyed by invasion, not by plague, not by flood, but by a fire people could not see until it was too late. I am the Archivist, and this was Chapter 3. If you seek forgotten truths and histories the world should remember, subscribe and join me when we open the next chapter.